If you are thinking if investing your money in a venture that is straightforward with low risk, then dairy farming should be on top of your list. Most Kenyans have avoided looking at dairy as a viable investment option. People think of dairy farming as business for the retired. I have a few examples to prove you wrong if you are one of them, but I will do that in a different article. For now, let's focus on what to consider before investing in dairy farming in Kenya. In my earlier blog, I described dairy farming as having feed as an input and milk and calves as the outputs. Anything else supports the process of converting feed into milk. A dairy cow happens to be the machine that makes the process possible. So before you invest in dairy, think of the breed you want to keep, but this is not the most important thing. 1. Feeds. To produce milk, three things are important: feed, feed and more feed. People think that farming is boring because of one reason: Kenyan farmers don't plan for their feeds. The funny part is that feeds is the easiest thing to plan for, yet most ignored. Just like humans, cows' feeds provide it with energy, protein, vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals are supplied as premix and will be bought so you don't have to worry much about it. Growing own feeds is the cheapest way to produce milk, and grass is the cheapest of all feeds to produce and mange. However, if you don't have enough land, buying is an option. My advice is, buy during the rainy seasons when feeds are cheap. Learn to conserve and use during dry season. Do this and you are on top of your game. Milk fetches highest price in the dry season, so if you can produce more, the richer you become. I will do an article on different types of feeds later. 2. Cow house and equipment. The next step is building a cow house. Again, unlike what most farmers think, cow house should not be expensive. Other than the calf, cows don't feel cold, and if they do, they have inbuilt mechanisms of dealing with it. A good cow house should keep the cow comfortable, enough air and keep beddings dry. Forget about the concrete walls, unless they are for security purposes. 3. Buy the cow. Once you have the feed and the house, the next thing is to buy a cow. Several breeds exist on cowsoko.com. You can buy a calf, heifer or a pregnant cow. It doesn't have to be a pure breed, as you can get a good foundation and improve to the pedigree stage. If you are a first-timer, my advice is, don't go for a high producer. They need high level of management. That comes with experience. 4. Seek knowledge and more knowledge. Dairy industry is ever-changing, and this is why you need to keep abreast with what's happening. You need to hire an expert who comes to visit your farm regularly and give you an assessment on how you are performing. I understand that this is not a common practice in Kenya. Also attend trainings, especially on practical training centers, and be a regular visitor at Ask shows. The most important point is that buying a cow is the third step when you want to invest in dairy farming in Kenya. I see many farmers in Kenya rush to build a house, get a cow, then get stuck because they don't have feeds. If you see a farmer failing because they don't have feeds, don't be discouraged. Use that farmer's experience as a practical example of how not to do dairy farming in Kenya.